Hello, everybody. I'm Cassie, and you're watching Crowd Chat with Cassie Elle, where I am going to be talking about crowd sales. Oh, sorry. I have my phone off to the side so I can keep track of comments because I haven't been able to do that yet, and I have been mostly focusing on interviews. But I have my phone up off to the side so I can keep track if anyone is on Facebook specifically leaving questions or comments. But what I'm going to be talking about today basically is what a crowd sale is. I have an order of how I wanted to go it. I wanted to talk about how it's different from Kickstarter, and then I'm going to go over exactly if you are thinking about having a crowd sale, kind of what's entailed in it. So I guess I'll go ahead and get started. I'm keeping track of the feed off to the side, and it's going to have a little bit of not feedback loop. What's the word I'm looking for? It's going to have a little bit of a delay. So if you do have a question or a comment, just give me a little bit before it pops up, and I will be sure to at least keep track of what's going on over here off to the side with the comments. So what a crowd sale is a form of crowdfunding where you're getting people together to help bring the costs down for everybody. The more people you have join your campaign, the greater the discount is. So the crowd brings in a crowd sale. And the way it's different from Kickstarter is Kickstarter, typically you have a product where it has a set price. The more people that join the campaign don't bring the cost down. They usually add components to the game or upgrade the components that are already present in the game. And crowd sales don't do that. They have the game already at its peak maximum efficient productivity level, and it just brings the cost down. So that's like one of the main big differences, I think, with Kickstarter and crowd sales. But there's a whole bunch of other differences that we'll take a look. But there's also a bunch of similarities as well. So if you're familiar with Kickstarter and you're thinking about doing a crowd sale and you're unsure where certain things are and certain functions are, I'm going to be pointing those out as I show off the video today. So first, I'm going to go ahead and go to the Game Crafter's website here and show you where the crowd sales are. If you go down here to the bottom of the page, you'll see crowd sale is right here. And so when you click on crowd sale, here are all of the crowd sales that have happened recently. But if you scroll down here, you can see there have been crowd sales going on, I believe since 2015. So crowd sales are not new to the Game Crafter. So if you have questions or you're unsure about anything and you want to take a look and see how someone else did it, you've got a lot of references here. And crowd sales aren't just for games. They're also for products. Like right here, you can see this was for a dice tower. So you don't have to do just games, and the Game Crafter has all kinds of different products in it. But so let's go ahead. I wanted to take a look at this one recently because they did really good. They did 103, and the max you need for the discount used to be was 100. And it got $9 off of the product, which is really great. But now the Game Crafter has increased the discount available, which is pretty significant for this kind of game. If you can get 500 and 1,000 plus supporters, it brings the cost down pretty significantly. I don't know if this is accurate, but maybe this isn't. But that is a new thing. And I'm going to go back to here. So what I'm going to be talking about next week, I'm going to go through a few of these and point out some of the more notable ones that did really, really well. But when you're thinking about running a crowd sale and you're unsure of how it works, right here you have click how to learn how to run a crowd sale. And it brings up this page here, which has a whole bunch of frequently asked questions. One of the big ones that I think people ask as a publisher or a designer is about the costs and the expense. And here it tells you a lot of information about how you would calculate what the best sale price is, what the discount is going to be. They talk about right here, you don't have to pay for the credit card fees, which I believe is a thing that is part of a Kickstarter fee. I'm not positive if it's part of that Kickstarter fee, but I would guess that they're getting some of that paid for with it. So there's a whole bunch of information here. If you're unsure of something and how something works and you wanted to learn more about the crowd sale, you can take a look at the page here, and there's all kinds of information. So let's go back to, we were here. Now, when you are making a crowd sale, I want to go back to this obelisk. First, you need to, now what I'm going to talk about is what's involved in making the crowd sale if you're thinking about doing it. First, you need to have your product, and it needs to have its sale page, which is a page that is already set up. It doesn't have this information here yet because this is part of the crowd sale, but it'll have information about the game. It's going to have information about, it should have a few reviews, and down, what I'm really trying to get to down here at the bottom is it has information about all of the components. And so it's pretty similar to, this is the crowd sale page, but first you start with the sale page, and it's pretty similar to what a crowd sale page is. So once you have your sale page ready up, your shop page for your product, you also are going to need this here, which is the crowd sale video. It's a little informational video about what the crowd sale is, what your product is, similar to how a Kickstarter video is, and it talks about what the game is all about. You could also explain a little bit about what the crowd sale is if you have anybody coming to take a look at your product and they're not familiar with the crowd sale. So you're going to need to have a video. You'll need to figure out what you want to do for your discount. And going back here to this frequently asked questions, I just wanted to show you right here, this is how you figure out what that maximum discount is going to be. And they have a nice little table here for a $20 game, $19.99, and what the discount runs. So if you're unsure, there's a lot of references here to take a look at. So once you know what kind of price you want to do for your game, you're going, and you have your page set up, you also need to have received a copy of your game to take a look at it, because you can't run a crowd sale without a game that you're confident is what you want. What if you have some typos? What if something came back and was incorrect? Because once you have the game made, you're going to, once you have the game made and you confirm it for the crowd sale and the crowd sale starts, you can't make any changes to the components of the game. You can make changes to your shop page as you know, say you're receiving reviews, just like on Kickstarter. If you're getting new updates and you want to add things to your page, you can do the same thing with the crowd sale page, but you can't change the components of the product, which is an important thing. And one of the big differences between a crowd sale and a Kickstarter is the crowd sale, you already have the product ready to go. It's 100%. This is what you're getting. And now let's just make it cheaper for everybody. And with a Kickstarter, it adds more components to it, which is not something you can do with your crowd sale. So keep that in mind when you're making your product. You need to get the final copy in, because what you get is what your backers are going to get. Everything is getting printed from the game crafter, so everything that you get, like I said, is going to be exactly what your backers get. So you want to make sure it's exactly what you're expecting. So after you have received your game and you approve it, you can go ahead and click on, there's this button here that you'll have when you have a shop page. It has a whole bunch of buttons here for your product. And one of the buttons is the crowd sale button. So you click that, that submits it, and it gets you started on your way to making a crowd sale, which is when you can upload a crowd sale video and when you get to pick the discounts that you want to do and how you can upload more videos. And down here, there's more things you can add where you can see products in action. So it's really easy once you make your, let me go back to my video. It's still on the Kickstarter. There we go. So it's very easy once you have your game made in and it has a shop page. All you have to do really is just press a button and do a little bit of calculating on, really it's more about how much you want to get back from the crowd sale, because the discount is based off of the amount you want to make off of your game. So once you know how much you're looking to make, reasonably, of course, you don't want to make a game crazy amount of money and then no one backs it. Once you know what you're doing for your crowd sale price, you submit it and pick a date, and then you launch. And I believe that you can pick, I think the average that I've seen for crowd sales has been about a week, but you can pick the length of time you want your crowd sale to run. You just need to adjust the time, and that's all you have to do. It's very easy. And I haven't seen any questions pop up, so I'm going to assume there aren't any. But it's very easy to do. If you were unsure of how to do anything, there's always the Game Crafter chat, which I wanted to just show. I'm not logged in. Well, you have to be logged in. But there's a button here that comes up and it's chat. And there's also a little thing down here that says chat. And you can ask any questions in the chat. There's also the support button off to the side if you have any questions for that as well. And like I said, there's so many different crowd sales that have happened since 2015. If you're unsure of what you want your page to look like, you have a lot of references to take a look. A lot of people have told me that what they're doing is once they're done with Kickstarter, and especially if they're using the Game Crafter for their crowd sale or for their Kickstarter fulfillment, they're putting the game on to the Game Crafter for a crowd sale later. So you can do your Kickstarter, get your successful funding, get your game out there, and then once people are asking for more, you can put it on to the Game Crafter with a crowd sale and try to just bring the cost down for everybody. Because you already know that the product is exactly the way you want it. You've done the Kickstarter. You have all of the components set and ready to go. All you need to do is run a crowd sale and make it cheaper. So that's pretty much the essence of the difference between a Kickstarter and a crowd sale, and how to get yourself started with a crowd sale. It's, like I said, it's not very difficult. You just really need to have your product set up in the shop page, and you need to make sure that the product you receive is exactly the way you want it, because you can't make changes, like I said, once you launch your crowd sale. So make sure what you have in your hands is exactly what you want them to have in their hands. So this was a pretty quick video. I didn't have any guests that were running any crowd sales, and I don't have anyone, I believe, that's doing a Kickstarter that's using the Game Crafter for fulfillment that's live at the moment. So I didn't have any guests. It was going to be just me. If anybody has any questions, I'm going to take a look at the comments later on, and I'll try to address them next video. But next week, I'm going to be out of town. I'm actually going to be attending Origins. If you'll be at Origins convention, I'll be doing some demos and walking around saying hi to everybody, so come find me. And the week after that, if I don't have any guests, what I wanted to do is, like I mentioned earlier in the video, is go over the notable crowd sales, the ones that did really well, or had a lot of backers, or had a lot of components, or were just like the things that, or maybe like the very first one. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at the most recent one. Take a look at some of the ones that weren't just for games. They were for, I know there are some that do tarot decks, and there are some people that will do, like we saw, a dice tower. So we'll take a look at some of those as well. Otherwise, unless, like I said, if I have a guest that will be doing a video, I'm going to ask the Game Crafter if we've got anybody coming up soon. Anyway, that's really all I have for today. If you, like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in any of the comments where you're watching this video live. I'm Cassie Elle, and I will see you not next Monday, but the Monday after on Crowd Chat. Thanks for watching.